Lord Ram, Bhagwan, Dev, Allah, Khuda, etc. are the names of one supreme God. What is He like? Where does He live? How is He attained? Who has seen Him? To remove all these questions permanently, must listen the nectar words of Jagat Guru Tattvadarshi, Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj, based on the holy scriptures of all religions.
That's why there cannot be his two forms. The first pillar form, the phallus, which was inserted in the middle, the pillar form, first he took the pillar form and later took the idol form. Haha, see how he is making a fool. What does he say? That in Brahma form I am formless and I am in form as God. Look ahead. Both these forms of mine are perfect and cannot be of anyone else. Look further. Because of this, neither you both nor others can attain divinity due to ignorance that you both consider yourself as God, have accepted that I am God, I am God. This very amazing thing has happened. I have come to the battlefield only to remove the same. Now leave your pride and put your intelligence in me, God. Oi hoi. It is out of my favor that all the objects in the world are illuminating. Look what he says, I have two forms, corporeal and formless, and no one is God. For this reason there cannot be his two forms. The first pillar form is in form, pillar is corporeal, and I am standing in front of you without form, I am formless. In Brahma form, I am formless and I am in form as divine. See how he is telling baseless definition. By souls on this basis, Brahma Kumari sect is a confused sect by this Kal. What do they say? The Shivling is incorporeal. They show the Shivling in their book, and the manifested Lord Shiva who is sitting is a corporeal deity, and that Shivling is incorporeal. Well, he is visible in front, how did it become incorporeal? Similarly, he is saying that the pillar form is my corporeal form, the pillar is corporeal, and I am formless who has now come in front of you in the form of Brahma. Now look, we have to come to our conclusion. What does he say? It is also necessary to prove that Kal is speaking here. See here. It is also clarified that you, Brahma and Vishnu, are not God. You both are not divine. It is very amazing that you both considered yourself as God out of ignorance. I have come to the battlefield only to remove the same arrogance. Now leave your pride and put your intelligence in me, God. It is out of my favor that all the objects in the world are illuminating. Look here, what does he say? I am Parabrahma. See what nonsense he is talking about. I am Parabrahma and I am the only form of wisdom. Being Brahma, I am God, grace, etc. is my act. Being omnipresent and being the creator of the world, I am Brahma. O Brahma Keshav. Being equal and all-pervading, I am the soul. I am the God of all this. It is mine and belongs to no one else except me. Firstly, for the sake of Brahma Tattva Gyan, formless Brahma has emerged. Now, look ahead on page 18. I have an unknown form. Behind, I have become a real God in order to give you a visible audience. I am in form for you. Fine. Now here comes the 9th chapter. 8th has ended and the 9th ends and the 10th begins. He says, O sons, these activities, O sons to Brahma and Vishnu, you both, because of your austerities, have received the first two acts which are called creation and maintenance. Being pleased, I have granted you. Similarly, the other two acts have been assigned to Rudra and Mahesh. He is the fourth, rather 5 are proved. Rudra is the head of 11 Rudras born from him. He is his son. He works in two forms, so here he is also called two forms. So one Brahma, one Vishnu, and one Rudra. He is the controller over the 11 Rudras, and Mahesh is his son, and the speaker is different. But no one is able to receive divinity. All these previous arrangements have been forgotten by both of you due to lapse of time, but Rudra and Mahesh did not forget. Now look, aha. As in Gita Ji, verse 13, chapter number 8, this knowledge giver of Gita is speaking, and you will find the confirmation of the same here. In Shiv Puran, page number 19, chapter 10, in Vidveshwar Samhita, part 1. Due to this reason, based on the accomplishment of this knowledge, both of you shall start reciting the mantra Omkar. See this? It kills ego. Therefore, this original mantra is preached. This Omkar being produced from my mouth is my symptomatic form itself. This provides great benefits. He is the announcer, I am the voice. This mantra is my soul. By remembering it, I am remembered. Which mantra? Chanting of Om. From the north mouth, Akar. From west mouth, Ukar. From south mouth, Makar. From east mouth, Dot. From middle mouth, Nad is created. In this way, this is produced in 5 forms. All these become one word Om after joining. Now,
ओम इति एकाक्षरम ब्रह्म व्यवहारण मामनुसमरण.
Gita Ji chapter 8 verse 13 is confirmed here that this same Kal is speaking Gita Ji, who is the father of Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh. All this name form being Vedbhut of both means the difference between the physical body, that is male and female, is pervaded by this mantra and is symptomatic of Shiv Shakti. From this Omkar, the enlightened mind of the whole world has arisen. Oh, Om. And this has manifested from Akar, Karm, etc. That is, from Akar, Nakar, Ukar, Makar, She, Bindu, Va from Nad. And from this Panchakshar, that is, 5 distinctions, Matrika from Akar, Lrikara, Shiromantra, and 4-mouth Tripada Gayatri originated, from which all Vedas were originated, etc., etc. Look ahead. Now, pious souls, this Sanskrit is available with us. Its Sanskrit is available here from the north mouth Akar, from west mouth Ukar, from south mouth Makar, Dot, from the middle like this. This is its Sanskrit. So while joining it is Om iti ekakshara bhavat. Ek akshar abhavat. Om iti ek akshar abhavat. And this is the mistake. Nowhere it has been written like this, that it is Om Namah Shivaya. See? It is not written anywhere in this. It is Sanskrit that it has become Om Namah Shivaya. And here it is written in this way with 5 distinctions. You have been already told this. Virtuous souls, till now we were in very dark. These ignorant people, these fake gurus, Brahmins, sages and great saints have translated these scriptures in Hindi. And while translating in Hindi, they have put their ignorant thinking, and the common society has read Hindi. And they started their spiritual practice considering whatever has been translated is final. Now, the translator of Shiv Puran, published from Gita Press Gorakhpur, has put his thinking in it that it became Om Namah Shivaya with these 5 mantras, Om Namah Shivaya, and chant it. Look at this. They have created confusion. This is published from Gita Press Gorakhpur. The same Hanuman Prasad Podar is its editor. And see in this. Now we come here on page 25. Now here is that pillar, Shivling in the middle of Vishnu and Brahma. And this is Vidveshwar Samhita. And this is concise Shiv Puran, page 24 and 25. Now we have read it even in Sanskrit. In the bottom of page 25, Brahma and Vishnu asked, Lord, what are the characteristics of the 5 acts of creation, etc.? Tell this to both of us. Now this God Gal standing in the form of Lord Shiv says, my acts are too deep to be understood. Yet I am kindly telling you about them. See this on page number 26. O sons, you both performed austerity, and from the delighted myself you have obtained 2 acts of creation and preservation. They both are very dear to you. Similarly, resembling my form, similar to my appearance, Rudra and Maheshwar have received other 2 supreme acts, destruction and disappearance, from me. With this it is proved that this Kal is their father of Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh. Now what is he telling further? Look here, I have in the past preached the mantra of my real form, which is famous as Omkar. Omkar is an auspicious mantra. First of all, Omkar, that is, Om appeared from my mouth, which is the enlightener of my form. It reminds me, he is the announcer, I am the voice. This is the translation of the same Sanskrit. I am the speaker, this mantra is my form. By constantly chanting Omkar every day, I am remembered. Om mantra is of Brahma. This Brahma is speaking by appearing in the form of Shiva. From the north, mouth, Akar. From west, mouth, Ukar. From the south, mouth, Makar. From east, mouth, dot. From middle mouth, Nad is created. In this way, the Omkar, consisting of 5 components, expanded, and after uniting with all these components, this Pranav became one letter called Om. Look here at the mistake done by the translator, that has come in light as Akar and Makar, etc. deeds, respectively Om Namah Shivaya. This is Panchakshar mantra. Hey fool! Here it is clearly said that after getting united with these 5 elements, it became one Om mantra. But the translator insisted on Om Namah Shivaya. These letters are written separately. This is not written in Sanskrit. It is his own opinion. So the pious souls saw this Om Namah Shivaya, that the same would be written in original Sanskrit also when the translator has written here. And we started reciting Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya is absolutely the wrong mantra. It is a mantra against scriptures. It should not be chanted. Now, pious souls, what this servant was going to tell you in today's discourse, I will start from now, and it has been 2 hours already. Yet I will recite the sacred speech for 10 minutes. Many things will be clear in this. Now when Dharamdas ji was met by God at that time, God Kabir wanted to explain to that pious soul that you say that you do not commit violence, and how many sins you commit throughout the day. For example, whatever practice you do, whatever virtue you do communal meal, Dharamdas ji. The virtue of that righteousness is written separately in your good account and automatically reaches to Dharamraj in his court, and whatever you do, the sins you commit every day are also written down. Now, as you have read in Gita ji that someone does farming or does a religious sacrifice, like it is the work of a Brahmin, could not teach you all, but you can see it. I will tell you about it later. Like a farmer, he is a laborer. He digs the soil. With a spade, the farmer plows, and the Brahmins used to perform religious sacrifice, etc., just like the Kshatriya does his work. It is said that all these deeds that you do have faults, but They cannot be abandoned. They have to be done. Like farmers, God says that in one halai, a farmer commits as much sin as 1,000 butchers. A halai is 1 acre of land that is 200 feet long and 30 feet wide. It is called halai. Such bullocks plows a plow and come back drawing a line and then comes back, goes and comes back. That much portion is called one halai. So it is said that in this one halai, farmer commits the sin of 1,000 butchers, the sin of the violence against animals is written on the forehead of that farmer. And then the virtues also come from it, like the crop grains grows, wheat grows, millet grows. They fall, animals and birds eat it. Some of it fell into the mouth of ants, insects eat it. It has become a virtue for him. And sin and virtues, both the accounts will be written separately. So in your law, you will have to suffer sin separately and virtues separately from the deities you worship. And God says that whoever will do my devotion, which I will tell, your sins will be destroyed. All the good deeds will be saved as earlier. What happens is that, like a weed grows in the field, then such a medicine is prepared that can be used to eliminate the weed. When it is irrigated, it destroys the grass and weeds only and does not harm the crop. Now look. Then automatically the crop will flourish. Anyway, this medicine was there earlier also, but could not discover it. Now God has given this medicine.
जब ही सतनाम हृदय धरो भयो पाप को नाश, जैसे चिंगारी अग्नि की वह पड़े पुराने घास.
The sin-killing medicine was there earlier also in our scriptures, in Kabir Ji's speech in Kabir Sagar, but it was not discovered. Now God has shown mercy on this servant, it has been discovered. So now you have found that sin-killing medicine. Your sins will be eliminated like the grass by that medicine, and the crop remained safe like this. So your good deeds will be saved and your sins will be destroyed. Now God tells Dharamdas that you have committed so many sins and there is not even a single virtue of coming to the pilgrimage. You put 2 handfuls of grain somewhere, it becomes virtuous, and how many sins you have committed, I will tell you. Hear me. Now Dharamdas ji was telling God, you are calling yourself God. You are visible in the body. God is heard to be formless. Used to worship Vishnu ji and was taking the idol and still calling God is formless. Now God tells Dharamdas ji,
हम उतरे तुम काज सुन से किया पियाना, शब्द रूप धर देह समझ बाणी सुर ज्ञाना.
God says that because of you, I have descended from my native place, Satlok. I have incarnated here. And Vedas also say that God lives in his own place. He lives in the third abode of liberation. He comes from there with speed, making his form simple. That Kabir Dev, Kabir God, comes and meets pious souls and gives them knowledge. हम उतरे तुम काज सुन से किया पियाना. Sun means where there is nothing except Satlok.
शब्द रूप धर देह समझ बाणी सुर ज्ञाना. नहीं नाद नहीं व्यंद नहीं पांच तत्व आकारम.
My body is not of the 5 elements like yours.
गुड़ीला ज्ञान अमान हंस उतारूं पारम.
God says,
नरक परख कर देख.
take a look at my body by touching it.
नरक परख कर देख. नहीं भौतिक हम रह काया, हम उतरे तुम काज नहीं कुछ मोह ना माया.
Now God says, look at my body, look closely and see, I don't have a body of 5 elements. I am corporeal. Similarly, in Mantra 8 of Yajurved, chapter 40, it has been said that Saparyagat means that Supreme God is the first corporeal and that
शुक्रम अकायम अबिंदम अवर्णम असनाविरम कवि मनीषी परिभू स्वयंभू ओय होय व्यवधाता शाश्वती भय समाभय
that Kabir God, the scholar, incarnated as Kabir, is Supreme God Kabir Ji. His body is not made of Shukram Akayam. That is, his body is not made from the union of parents, nor it has blood vessels or joints. He is self-existent. He is Paribhu. Now, here these benighted so-called scholars of Vedas are fake and say that in Yajurved chapter number 40 verse 8 it has been written that the Supreme God says, I am Akayam. Then why did it say Swambhu? Why was it said Asanaviram? Why was Shukram Akayam said? So they were ignorant. They said,
दिखत के तो नैन चश्मिन का फेरा मोतिया बंदरे
here God is saying,
नरक परख कर देख नहीं भौतिक हमरे काया हम उतरे तुम काज नहीं कुछ मोह न माया
Almighty says,
गगन सुन में धाम है
above in Satlok is my place at the peak.
अवगत नगर नरेश अगम पंथ कोई ना लखे ये खोजे शंकर से
My place is in the Sun Shikhar. My abode is at the uppermost. Avigat Nagar Naresh. There. I am seated in the form of a king. I sit there like a king, as it is said in Rigved Mandal number 9, Suk number 82, Mantra number 1, that God is visible like a king from there. He comes down with speed. God used to say,
वेद हमारा भेद है मैं मिलूं वेदन से नाही जौन वेद से मैं मिलूं वो वेद जानते नाही
the same Vedas say that Supreme God Kabir Dev resides in the third liberation abode like a king, and the same God Kabir Ji had gone 600 years ago after telling his glory to his beloved soul.
सोन गगन में हम बसे हैं और पृथ्वी आसन थीरे धर्मदास धोखा दिला इब छाणो नीर और खीर सुन गगन में हम बसे
I live in uppermost abode Satlok, and also sitting here before you like when Ramananji saw God in Satlok, and also in front of himself he said that
दो ठोर है एक तू और भया एक से दो
Ramananji says, Ham karne tum utre ho magjo. God, you have come for us. So here God Kabir Ji tells that, O innocent man, the devotion that you are doing is against the scriptures, and sins of yours will be written as it is, and there is no virtue in them. It is said,
बोले जंद सुनो धर्मदासा हमरे पिंड प्राण निश्वासा
my body, pind means body, unlike yours, does not function with breath. This body is without breath. For example, there is a tire tube in which air is filled. There are such tires in which air is not filled. They are made of rubber as it is. They are without air and they are more durable. So what is said here? God in form of Zinda Baba says,
बोले जंद सुनो धर्मदासा हमरे पिंड प्राण निश्वासा गर्भ योनि में हम नहीं आए मादर पिदर ना जननी जाए
God used to say that I have not taken birth from mother's womb.
शब्द स्वरूपी रूप हमारा के दिखलावे आचार विचारा
What have you become by being a Vaishno monk, wearing tilak and ring the bell in front of the idol? God says there is nothing in it. And listen how much sins you commit.
कहते हैं सत्य ब्राह्मण की है हत्या जो चौका तुम देवो नेता
Now, holy souls, we have to become familiar with this entire spiritual knowledge. God is saying that, Dharamdas, you make the stove every day, that is, making roti, prepare food. Before that, you also apply mud, plaster, by mixing cow dung and water in that plaster and used to clean. and cooking bread, food, it is said,
सत्य ब्राह्मण की है हत्या, जो चौका तुम देवो नित्या.
you do mud plaster every day. In this, the death of 70 Brahmins is written in your bad account.
सत्य ब्राह्मण की है हत्या, जो चौका तुम देवो नित्या.
Now it has been written in the Puranas that Brahman means devotee. Even if someone kills any living being, is a partaker of sin. And the one who kills a Brahman, that is a devotee, the one who kills a sage, a saint, it is said that he suffers terrible sin. Now again it is said that it is called killing Brahma.
सत्य ब्राह्मण की है हत्या, जो चौका तुम देवो नित्या. ब्राह्मण सेंस हत्या जो होई, जल स्नान करत हो सोई.
And you commit the sin of killing 1000 Brahmins, that is Brahma, when you bathe in this Mathura-like pilgrimage and kill so many creatures living in it from here to there. You commit the sin of killing 1000 Brahmins, that is sin of killing Brahma.
चौके कर्मी कीट मर जाही, सुख संजीव जो दर्शे नाही.
Don't know how many microbes and insects are killed in the stove, means in what you cook, which are not even visible. And it is said,
हरि भांति पृथ्वी के रंगा, अंत कोट जीव उड़े पतंगा.
green, green, just like we used to see in grass. There are small insects like grass who jump when we step on them. We do not know how many are killed. And are like the color of the earth, which we do not even know. They are like the color of the earth, and they die after coming under our feet or in some other way.
हरि भांति पृथ्वी के रंगा, अंत कोट जीव उड़े पतंगा. तारक मंत्र कोट जपाई, वो जीव हत्या उतरे नाही.
These chanting Ram Ram, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Radhe Sham, these are not salvation mantras, and you chant these mantras considering them as sins destroyer and provider of salvation. It is said that
ये तारक मंत्र कोटि जपाई, ये जीव हत्या उतरे नाही.
the sins that you have been written in your fate will not be destroyed by these mantras.
पृथ्वी ऊपर पग जो धारे, करोड़ जीव एक दिन में मारे. ओए होए.
It is said that after killing crores of living beings in whole day, you take rest in the evening, even for the business that you do. Now, by souls, a doubt will arise in your mind that we also mop nowadays. Even mops have become of a different standard in it. Phenol is used to wipe the floor or in some other way. There is violence in that too. Now there will be a doubt that in this there will also be accumulation of sins for us. So this is the major difference of day and night in between this devotion and the devotion we were listening and doing till date. As we wear clothes every day, and clothes also get dirty if we wash them with soap and water every day, they remain bright. Similarly, those who lack soap and water, their clothes become covered in dirt. Even the color of the clothes is not visible, whether they are white or black. So, virtuous souls, you have received this mantra, the chanting of Satnam mantra. Understand, you have got detergent and soap. Now you have got water, discourses, form, water and soap in the form of Satnam. Now don't commit sin knowingly. What are willful sins? Eating chicken, slaughtering goats, or knowingly walking over insects. No, try to avoid them wherever any insect or animal is in front of you. If they are on your way and you have no place to change, then you are not guilty. Try to save your leg from stepping on someone, but if someone dies during that time, then you are not guilty. Like a farmer plows the field, the laborers cut the land, and some microbes are also killed along with it. There it is not your intention to kill, but you will have to suffer both because of the earlier law. And in this law of God, it is written that
इच्छा कर मारे नहीं, बिन इच्छा मर जा, और कह कबीर दास का फिर पाप नहीं लगे.
do not kill knowingly. Unknowingly, such as when we commit acts which are our natural acts, if any violence happens to them, then it will not be our sins because we have come under the shelter of this God, and other sins will also be removed from Satanam. Accumulated sins will also be destroyed by this Satanam. And the painful deeds that are to come in the form of destiny will burn like weeds in this previous birth, like a crop of ours. Sins will be destroyed, and the rest of the virtues will be saved. Now you will have a doubt that we also wipe the floor, they also have sins. No. By chanting the Satnam, because our aim is not to kill him, we have to keep that place sacred, otherwise we will get sick. So these sins were to be born earlier. Now they will not be born. For example, let me tell you that if someone has a driving license, driving means certificate for driving, and he is going on the road. By chance an accident happens by him, if a person dies, then first of all, the police comes and checks if you have a driving license. If he has a certified driving license, then he is not guilty 90%. 10% is under what circumstances such incident has happened, whether there is any problem in the vehicle or he has been negligent. That is a different thing. And the one who does not have license, and an accident happens with him, and if someone dies, he directly goes to jail. There is no option for him. So the mantra that this slave is giving is a driving license. You are told the rules and methods of living and doing on this earth. So the one who has these mantras and violence happens with him, although he does not intend to do so, the one who has the license, these mantras are obtained from the slave. He is not guilty, because he has this certificate that he is a devotee, and devotees never kill intentionally, and in this way you will be saved from those sins and troubles, and your virtues will be elated, and you will go to Satlok. Hail Satguru Dev, Jai Ho. Supreme Father, Supreme God, Purna Brahma, the creator of the entire universe, Kabir Dev, Kabir Sahib, is the father of all of us, is our originator. We got trapped in the web of this Kal due to our mistake, and here this Kal God has made us miserable. The pain of loved ones is felt only by loved ones. Now you are seeing here we consider God to be merciful because it has been written in his qualities. But there is no such thing as mercy on this earth. Somewhere someone is roaming in the fields, in the forest, or someone is walking on the way, suddenly it rains. Get wet or survive, get sick or stay healthy. Hail falls and hits the head. If you can save your life by running somewhere, then save it when a flood comes somewhere. Thousands of people flow away. Animals and birds die. Humans die. So, pious souls, this place is not that place. The God here is not kind at all. And the merciful God comes here. We do not recognize him because we have heard the opposite definition of God on the basis of ignorance. By not recognizing God, we have considered those who are not God as God. As yesterday you were shown the episode in Sri Shiv Mahapuran. The Kal God, who is the God here, who is Kal? God means master, controller. So the one who is the master of 21 universes here is Brahma. He is also called Kshar Purush, Kshar Brahma, or Jyoti Swarupi Kal. He is the father of Sri Brahma, Sri Vishnu, Sri Shivji, and he himself tells to Brahma and Vishnuji that you have made a big mistake, that you have considered yourself as God. You are not God. And we are considering them as God. Now, virtuous souls, this is such a bitter medicine. It is quinine. Because in each of these discourses, this collective discourse is a place of spiritual education, and in this, students keep changing our devotees, explain to their friends, relatives, or anyone who is ready to listen to the right thing and say, come on, once you listen to the satsang, such pious souls also come and they will get to hear this for the first time, that Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva are not God. So for them it will be like putting a quinine on a child's tongue and he spits it, does not accept it, and then suffers a lot. So to eat that quinine, it is a must to sugar coat it so that it can easily be swallowed. So the purpose of sugar coating is that when once it is said that Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva are not God, this quinine was put on the tongue and then its evidence is shown as written in their biography. Then it becomes sugar coated and then it will be swallowed easily. So let's show you these proofs once again. See, this is Shiv Mahapuran. Along with Hindi commentaries, Sanskrit is also there, part 1. Shri Shiv Mahapuran, Vidya Varidhi, Pandit Jwala Prasad Ji Mishra, Khemraj Shri Krishnadas Publications, Bombay. We will give you a little hint here. Once Brahma Ji and Vishnu Ji had a fight. Brahma Ji said, as I told you yesterday and showed you in full detail, today we will take a little hint, just a little. Yesterday I had told you that there was a fight between Brahma and Vishnu on this matter, that Lord Vishnu said, I am your father, and Lord Brahma said, I am your creator. The war started between them. Then this god Kal, father of Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh, raised a ling, means pillar, between these two, radiant pillar. Their war stopped. Then what does he tell them? By appearing himself, that you are not God at all. You are just saying like that. See here, showing you the same Shiv Puran. Shiv Puran, part 1 was shown to you just now. Let's show the same further. Let's take you to page number 17. This is page number 17 of Shiv Puran, and this is Vidveshwar Samhita part 1 and chapter 9. And to remove the ignorance and enmity of both, he said to both, who? This Kal god, their father, I have two forms, corporeal and formless, but there is no other God. That's why they cannot have two forms. He cannot have two forms. First pillar form, and later he assumed the form of an idol. In this way, the form of Brahma is Nishkal, means formless, and the form of God is corporeal. Both these forms of mine are perfect and cannot be of anyone. That's why neither you nor others can attain divinity. That you have considered yourself as God out of ignorance, accepted yourself as God, accepted yourself as the doer. It is very amazing. I came to the battlefield only to quell the same. Now leave your pride and put your intelligence in me, God. That's all we will take here. Now let's start today's discourse. This holy Puran made it clear that Brahma and Vishnu are not Lord, they are not God, they are not Master. In Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter number 7, verse number 12 to 15, 20 to 23, 20, 21, 22, 23, it has been clarified that the one who worships these three gunas, Rajguna Brahma, Satguna Vishnu and Tamguna Shivji, whose intellect is limited to these three and are not ready to listen to anyone's knowledge. Further, their intelligence has been stolen away, those whose knowledge has been stolen away, they are demonic in nature, lowest amongst men, evildoers, foolish people. Brahmakal, the knowledge giver of Gita, says that they do not even worship me. Foolish people worship other gods, which is futile as it is against the scriptures. Now, by souls, to give this true knowledge, God himself comes walking from his Satlok. God had come from Satlok to remove this ignorance. On the same occasion, this 5-day discourse ceremony is going on. With the same purpose, God had come and met one of his beloved souls, Dharamdas Ji. Dharamdas Ji was very rich, lived in Bandhavgarh. He was so wealthy and rich man that it is said from his grandfathers and fathers at that time, the kings there used to get financial help during natural calamities. The point is that being a millionaire, having so much money at home, having all the happiness, the pious soul who yearns for God, who has the will, then there is no shortage in the pious deeds of his previous birth. There is no shortage in his sacrament, but if there is any defect, if there is any mistake, then it is of true spiritual knowledge and supreme saint. To fulfill it, God himself came and met that beloved soul in Mathura when Dharamdas Ji was on pilgrimage on the basis of that hearsay knowledge. God is telling Dharamdas Ji that the pilgrimage you go to take bath is very useless. It is of no use anywhere. And from these trips you only accumulate sin, you do not get any virtues. The devotion being against scriptures, not as per holy scriptures, according to verse number 23 of Gita Ji, chapter 16, those who abandoning the injunctions of the scriptures acts according to their whimsical desires neither attain happiness nor salvation, not even attain perfection, meaning it is useless. So what you are practicing, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Radhe Radhe, Shyam Milade, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya Namaha. These mantras are not meant for chanting, because there is no provision and no order for these mantras anywhere in the Holy Gita, Srimad, Bhagavad Gita and the 4 holy Vedas are God-given spiritual knowledge. This is the spiritual knowledge given by God. Whatever is written in this knowledge is the law, we should follow that. Leaving this aside, if we are doing any other devotion on the basis of any folk tale and on the advice of a sage, then that is against the scriptures. Hence, it is futile, because of which we are guilty of God. The one who breaks the law is a criminal, whether the clause is small or big, he has committed the crime. That's why we should follow the order of God written in our scriptures. In Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, verses 10 to 15, it has been clarified that those who do not perform these 5 sacrifices are thieves. And to perform the sacrifices, it has been said that to worship that supreme God, considering him as your respected, then your deeds will be made according to the scriptures. then God will give you the fruits of those deeds. They will be your virtues. In Bhagavad Gita chapter 8 verse 13 it has been said that
ओम इति एकाक्षरम ब्रह्म व्यवहारन मामनुसमन ये प्रयाति तजन देहम स याति परमाम गतिम.
the knowledge giver of Gita, Brahma, says there is only one syllable Om of me, Brahma, Mam Brahma. One who remembers it, Yeh Prayati Tajam Deham, while leaving his body, Sahayati Paramam Gatim, attains salvation till the level of Om. That is, the ultimate salvation of chanting Om is attaining Brahmalok. Om is the mantra of Brahma, and that seeker goes to Brahmalok. In Gita Ji chapter number 8 verse number 16 it has been written that all the worlds are in recurrence till Brahmalok. Even the living beings who have gone there after finishing their virtues again suffer in the bodies of other living beings in 84 lakh births. That's why the knowledge giver of Gita says in 18th verse of 7th chapter that my devotion is inferior, my attainment is also inferior, because in verse 5 and 9 of chapter 4 and in verse 12 of chapter 2, the knowledge giver of Gita says, Arjun, you and I have had many births. There will be many in the future as well. Don't think that we are born now. That's why it has been explained in Gita Ji chapter 15 verse 1 to 4 and 15 and 16 that when an enlightened saint is found, who will be an enlightened saint? A saint who will tell all the parts, divisions of the upside down, hanging world-like tree in different ways. Sah Vedvit is an enlightened saint. And after that, removing all this ignorance from darkness with true spiritual knowledge, form, weapon, meaning, understanding, true spiritual knowledge from an enlightened saint. Then in Gita, chapter number 15, verse number 4, it has been said that after that one should search for that place of God, having gone where devotees never return in birth and death in this world. And the God from whom this world-like tree has got the expansion, that is, the one who has created all the universes, has created the world-like tree, and only that God should be worshipped with all clear intention. In Gita Ji, chapter number 15, verses 16 and 17, three gods have been told. One, Akshar Purush known as Brahma, Akshar Purush known as Parabrahma, and Uttama Purusha tu Anyah Paramata iti udharte Paramakshar Brahma is other than Akshar Purush and Akshar Purush. In verse number 1 of Gita Ji chapter 8, Arjun asked God, who is that Tat Brahma, about whom you have told in verse 29 of chapter 7 that the one who knows that Tat Brahma and the entire spiritual knowledge in all my actions, he only tries to get rid of birth, death and old age. Jara means old age and Maran means death. He only wants to get rid of this suffering. He does not demand anything in the world. Then Arjun asked, Kim Tat Brahma? Who is that God? Who is other than you? The knowledge giver of Gita has told in verse 3 of chapter 8 that he is Paramakshar Brahma. By souls, that Paramakshar Brahma and his devotion and practice, this knowledge giver of Gita says, I do not know. The detailed information to attain that God, it has been said in verse number 32 of chapter 4 of Gita Ji, that as I have given you the knowledge from chapter 4 verse 25 to 31, some worship God, some only keep fast, some do self-recitation, some do pranayam only, some are satisfied only by practicing yoga, and all of them consider their own practices to be the destroyer of sins. No. All these religious rituals, sacrifices have been explained in detailed in Sachidanand Ghana Brahma's speech here. The translators have made a disaster in verse 32 of 4th chapter. Sachidanand Ghana Brahma has been translated as the speech of the Vedas. No. In Gita chapter 17 verse 23 they have done the meaning of Brahmane as Sachidanand Ghana Brahma. Look from there. So here the knowledge of Sachidanand Ghana Brahma has given by pronouncing it from his lotus mouth. It is called Brahmane Mukhe. It has been said in detail. In the speech of God, then in 34th verse of chapter 4, it has been said that it is true spiritual knowledge. Understand that true spiritual knowledge by going to enlightened saints. That enlightened saint will give you the knowledge of that divine element. Bow down to him and humbly ask the question. It has been told about that in 23rd verse of chapter 17.
ओम तत्सत इति निर्देश है ब्रह्मण त्रिवेद समर्थ है ब्राह्मणा तेन वेदा च यगा विहिता पुरा.
These scholars, intelligent persons, Brahman means scholars, intelligent persons who has recognized God. Good souls, devoutes, all of them are called Brahmans. It is said that at that time in the beginning good souls do spiritual practice on that basis. So it has been clarified here that I do not know, but the mantra of Sachidanand Ghana Brahma is of 3 syllables, nothing else. And he is telling his own that my mantra is only Om, nothing else. And no other mantra. So it has been said about Om Tat Sat, which is the mantra to attain Supreme God, that it will be told by the enlightened saint. So by souls he has already made clear Om, that Om is my mantra. And Tat Sat, these are the 3 mantras of Kshar Purush, Akshar Purush and Paramakshar Purush. Kshar Purush is Brahm, his mantra is Om. Akshar Purush is Parabrahm, his mantra is Tat. Tat is symbolic here. And Paramakshar Brahma, his mantra is Sat. The Sat is also indicative. These 3 together make one mantra which is recited in 3 ways, Trividha Smritaha, which can be recited by 3 ways, and only the servant can tell. No one on this earth, in this universe, has this mantra, because God had instructed at last to Dharamdas ji after giving all knowledge that
धर्मदास तो लाख दुआई ये सार शब्द कई बार ना जाई सार शब्द बार जो पढ़ी बिचली पीढ़ी हंसनी तेरी.
Now in the first phase of Kali Yuga, God himself came. And in the last phase of Kali Yuga, all will become ungrateful creatures. They will be non-vegetarians, alcoholics, miscreants. Men and women will be in bad condition. They will not be worthy to do devotion. Now this is the middle cream, middle generation. India became independent from the year 1947. And India is the spiritual university of the world. And before 1947, there was no education in India. After that, this period of education started. Now you are the soul of the middle generation, and it's God's order to tell you this precious knowledge. Otherwise, the secret will not be revealed. Even now, you all are such pious souls that you are born in this middle generation, and you got a human body, and then this knowledge reached you. You are a beloved soul of that Supreme God, but you are a child. And a child does not know his loss and gain quickly. Then you grow up, then you start giving knowledge to others as well. So by coming here, your childish mind will end. You will be full of true spiritual knowledge. You will be liberated, and you won't stop. You will try to tell thousands. Whether he believes it or not, that is a different matter. His luck and bad luck is with him.
धर्मदास तो लाख दुआई ये सार शब्द की तबार न जाई.
See how merciful God is, that these evil people, these fake saints, will remember my knowledge and mantra of God and will start giving initiation, but they will not be authorized, and will take these creatures and cards trapped by souls. No work will be successful without an authorized saint. For example, if a fake person takes the mantra from the servant and starts giving somewhere, then he is making a duplicate certificate. He is an enemy of those creatures because he is not an authorized. Now, as someone has obtained a driving license from an unauthorized person, then both the one who made it and the one who got it made will be punished. This is a small thing. Similarly, this is law. When God himself came, he used to give initiation alone. There were 64 lakh disciples. And even now, mercy has been showered on this servant, whether crores or billions of people may take initiation. Only mantra has to be given. Knowledge, God has shown mercy now. We have this modern technology, the satellite and weather, the whole world can sit and listen to discourse at one time. Initiation will be given to everyone and do devotion. It is a matter of 2 words. This Kal has made it difficult to have faith in the mantra and to have faith in God. This folklore has been inserted ahead. So much effort is being made to destroy the myths, ignorance and folk tales. So many proofs are being given, and when this ignorance will be removed, then it is a matter of 2 words. Kabir is God. And this is the dignity. Keep dignity and chant this mantra. Be afraid of God. Do not commit sin. You will attain salvation. It is a matter of 2 words. Now it is becoming difficult for us to prove God as God. But now, this difficult task is going to be very easy. Society is intelligent. This is the middle generation. It is God's order that when the middle generation will come, I will give salvation to everyone. If you will remain in dignity and will not leave this door, you all will be liberated. God knows that this is Kal, does not let them do devotion. But still you're yearning. Suppose you are not able to do much devotional practice, then you have a unique yearning. Oh God, today mantras could not be done. Oh God, today Nitniyam could not be done. Meaning you cry from within. Then this is also the devotion of God. And God Kabirji says, remember a formula.
द्वार धनी के पड़ा रहे, धक्के धनी के खावे, 100 काल झकझोल ही पर द्वार छोड़ नहीं जावे.
And after a few days, your situation will be such like,
बंदी छोड़ दयाल जी तुम तक हमारी दौड़, और जैसे काग जहाज का अब कहीं सूझ जाए और नहीं ठोर.
you will become so knowledgeable that apart from this place, Satlok Ashram, God Kabir and this servant, you will not find any place who can give you happiness or salvation. Just like in the olden days when these ships used to sail, crows used to sit in them and go because the passengers who used to eat food also used to give them. The crow used to sit and travel. In earlier times, these compasses were not of good quality. Those compasses used to get disturbed by magnetic rocks and the ship used to go ahead by 100 or 200 kilometers at night going ahead. In the morning, the ship driver wants to see whether we were going in the right direction or not. They had a way of checking their compass to see if it was giving the right direction or not. The crow that had been traveling with them, sitting in the ship, sat all night. So at that time, they pelt stones at the crow and force him to fly from there. So he flies away. The crow has such a special intelligence given by God. He has a quality that he does not forget the direction from which he had started. He fears that if someone throws stones at me, I need to fly back, so I should not forget the direction and come back. So even at night, inside him, like a computer, he remembers that direction. So when a crow is released, the crow flies and moves exactly in the same direction straight from where the ship had started. So at that time, the driver of that ship used to see whether your compass is correct or not. The crow tells accurately. Then the crow flies for a long time, then sees that there is no place to sit. Everywhere there is only water, and apart from the ship, he has no place where he can rest. So he finds rest on the ship itself after flying and seeing here and there. If he sits anywhere else other than the ship, he will die by drowning.
जगत गुरु तत्वदर्शी संत रामपाल जी महाराज जी के मंगल प्रवचन। अधिक जानकारी के लिए विजिट कीजिए हमारी वेबसाइट www.jagatgururampalji.org। संत रामपाल जी महाराज जी के शुभ आशीर्वाद से पूरे विश्व भर में 500 से भी ज्यादा नाम दीक्षा केंद्र हैं, जिन पर संत रामपाल जी महाराज जी द्वारा ऑनलाइन निशुल्क नाम दीक्षा दी जा रही है। अपने नजदीकी नाम दीक्षा केंद्र का पता करने के लिए संपर्क करें 8222880541।